Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to this channel called MCJ's Art Studio. This is the last clip of 2023. I know I recorded it and placed it here for you on January, but it is actually the last clip of 2023. So I'm going to go back a little bit into time, and I got some beautiful gems for you all. Sit back, watch, don't forget to subscribe, follow, and like the content. Let's start the show. Back here in the studio, and I got some items out of my store, some artsy goodies. Now in my art shop I have the original art prints and also some artsy goodies. That's how I like to call them, artsy goodies. And these are actually items that you can use in your everyday life. These are notebooks, t-shirts, stationery, etc., accessories, great things that you can use. So here I ordered two samples. One is a tote bag and the other one is a notebook. I love the tote bag. I've been using it now a couple of times and I absolutely love the tote bag. She is tantalizing. Okay, so if you got a weak heart, this is not for you, but I do have different designs from my artworks on tote bags, so you can definitely choose another one if this is a little bit spicy for you. Not everybody can handle it. And the other one is a notebook. It's like a, pretty standard notebook, but I just love the vibrancy of the notebook. It's such a stand out. So for those who want to know how to get my arts, and maybe you're looking for something else that might be in your budget, in your price region, these two items are definitely worthwhile to take. So go over to the website and get you some of these goodies. What is up, people? Welcome back. We got the last week. This week is the last week of the year. And I don't know about y'all, but yeah, let's just start. Let's just start the clip. Let's just start the video. So I'm sitting here in my home, pretty comfortably here in my hoodie here at the desk. And I will definitely be going into what I would be talking about, that I promised I would be talking about in my last video. Me moving to Utrecht. So me having this space in Utrecht is something that I've never envisioned. I've never envisioned me going to a different city except for Amsterdam. But it's logical because Amsterdam's a lot closer than Utrecht. For those who do not know, Utrecht is another province here in the Netherlands. And the best way that I can describe it is it's about half an hour from my home with the train. The place that I have right now where I can use as an exposition / gallery type of space is very close to Central Station. It's a perfect spot. It definitely is. But before I even get to the spot and start talking about what it is and what it will be not and the plans that I have for that. So me having this space in Utrecht is something that I actually did not envision for myself, because Utrecht was the last place that I had on my list to have this particular idea. Now I already started to talk about me wanting to have a space where I can hold workshops, expositions, also adding that part to MCJ Studio is just connected with each other, and for me it's a logical decision to make. The current studio that I have is not big enough. Alright, she is not spacious enough. She just isn't. So I wouldn't say I don't have a choice but then to do what it is that I've done. My perspective more on it is this is an option to do what it is that I want to do. Definitely different. So how did I come to Utrecht? Well, basically just looking around. I mean, what else do you want me to say? I guess that's the video. And that's actually a weird way of ending the video. Kind of corny. But anyway, the way that I came to Utrecht is literally by thinking my options through, okay? And also thinking a lot bigger than what I actually would have in mind. Number one, I kind of was looking for a space that was just as big as the one that I have currently in the studio. But it would have been separately or maybe twice the space. The space that I have right now is a lot bigger. I think it's 4 times or maybe more, the actual space that I have in there. No, it's 4 times the space. It is. It is 4 times the space, even more than what I have. So 1, looking for something bigger than I would have and a lot bigger than I would actually envision for myself. Number 2, the cities. Of course, I could have been looking here in my local city or in Amsterdam, something that is a lot closer to home, a lot closer to the studio. But what I started to see is that, number 1, most spaces were not in my budget. Number 2, most spaces would require me to share that with somebody else or with a group of people. Don't really mind that, but the things that were out there were mostly people that wanted to have the cleaner versions of art. And as you already know, when you're painting, you get dirty. So I'm not, I don't want to explain anything to somebody. I don't want to be having no negotiations or arguments or agreements about the way that I work. I already know how I work. I know what it is that I need. And what I need to know is, can you give it to me? So for me to be in a space where I will be working with other people or sharing that space with other people is also not an option. Not to the degree and extent that I would like to see it. Another thing, which can be an advantage or a disadvantage, it just depends on how you look at it, but for me would be a disadvantage, is to be in a space where I had to have days, like set days where I could use the space. And of course, again, to what maximum capacity when it comes to the space, literally the space that I can use. Those are limitations. And I don't want to be limited in what it is that I have in mind for myself. I don't even want to be limited in what I think I can get when it comes to the space at hand. So no, that was not an option. Number 3, availability, just the availability. Most of the spaces here in Amsterdam are already filled, right? When it comes to having something that's within your budget, within line of your budget, within line what it is that you want to do, most spaces are filled, or you're left to spaces that you just have to rent. And these can be rented per day, per half a day, per week. You have so-called pop-up stores, and that is also not an option because eventually you become, it will become a lot more expensive, and that's just a bad investment that you're going to make if it is something that you have for the long run. If there's a long-term vision that you have, you do want to do it in a way where it will grow along with the capacity that you have. I don't believe that you should be maxing out on your financial, physical, mental, and other types of resources. Some resources will have a little bit more strain than others, but not in a way that you are stuck in some kind of contraption and you don't know how to get out. We ain't doing that. All right, so that was a no. As well, there's just no spot available. Listen, I've spoken with other people. I have presented my ideas to other people. Some were interested, some were not interested. So I just had the option. I'm not saying I have no choice. What I'm saying is I had the option to do it my darn self. Meaning, get your own spot and keep on looking until you have one. Here is where Utrecht comes into play. Now, mind you, do I have any relationship with the city Utrecht? 1, I don't live there. 2, except for the fact that I have my space over there, I don't come there regularly. There is some sort of connection. I used to go there a lot when I was doing dance battles, but that was the only thing. I didn't really go there to shop. Didn't really go there to visit friends. Not at all. I mean, it's a great city, but I'm gonna say this: I'm not really charmed by the city. Listen, I'm not really charmed by the city. It has its charm, but it didn't sprinkle its glitter and glam on me. All right, so I know what you're already thinking. Then why in the do you want to go over there? Well, the reason why I'm going over there is business. It is business that I'm going over there. And I mean, it's not that bad that I'm saying I hate it over there. I'm just saying it doesn't have the same charm that other people would have on me. I can make anything work. That is what I know about myself. I can make anything work. I like the city enough for me to be there. But like I already said, I haven't fallen in love with it. Maybe I have to be there a lot more, right? Like I've been for the last couple of weeks. So the love might grow. I like it enough to be over there. So that's what actually just made me go over there. Also, when I approached the company that was renting out this space and I was allowed to look around, I mean, the space that I have right now is not the first space that I was visiting, scouting in Utrecht. There was a different space, which you already saw in the previous video at the beginning. If you haven't, somewhere here in the corner, you'll find a link. I say press it and you will see it. So when I visited the first spot, which was also school building, I was like, okay, this, I can change it. I mean, I can look through anything because that is just what I do. I can look through anything. If it's not possible for me to look through anything and be like, I can make something out of it, I'm just not gonna do it. But I can look through anything. So I was already pretty excited about the process. Like, okay, we're doing this again. I'm looking for a spot again, even though I've been looking for a spot for a long time. I just haven't told or shared it with you all. But you already know, I do things in silence, and when it has grown, then it's when I'm talking about it. But I've been looking for a spot for quite some time, and when I visited this spot, I was like, okay, I can do something with it. However, if you snooze, you lose. I snoozed on the opportunity, so that went past me. So the second one that came, which is this current space, I got it, I visited it, and I was like, yeah, this definitely can be something. It definitely can be. Like I already said, I can look through whatever is there. It's also a school building in Utrecht, also very close to Central Station, very easy accessible. Yeah, I can definitely do something with it. And then I came into the trials and tribulations, which I talked about last week. Again, if you want to know more about that, click somewhere here in the corner. You'll find out. So yeah, I mean, luckily for me, I'm still here with this idea, and now having to really set up a program for 2024, which is going to be very exciting. It's going to be very exciting. So that is how I ended up in Utrecht. Now, another thing that you might be thinking is, what about the budget? Well, what about it? Yes, I am budgeting a studio in this particular space. That's just what it needs to be done. For me, I'm not saying that you need to be doing that, but I'm doing this for not just me, of course, because if I'm doing this for me, then hell, why make the video about it, right? Why make a whole explanation telling about it? Of course, I want people to get involved. I want the audience to get involved. I want other artists to get involved. I want collectors to get involved. Of course, there's a reason why I'm doing it, of course. So that would make sense to me. For me, to make that investment, to have that in my budget, to have 2 spaces. So yeah, like I already said, it has to be something that is a next logical step for you. If you're not capable of doing that, then don't do it. This is not to show you that you have to do these type of things. This is to show you what the possibilities are. You get to determine for yourself what works and what doesn't work, right? I say this a lot in my videos. I only show how I do it and how I create a blueprint for myself. But that means I have to do the work and I have to be aware of what it is that I do. That has nothing to do with how I want it to be perceived by you all, because you have a different life, you have a different vision, you have a different goal, you have a different intention. So my purpose for showing you all of these steps and all of these things that I'm doing is not to gloat. No, I don't need YouTube for that. Not at all. For me, it's really to document what am I doing and how can this, for instance, not only help me, but help others as well to find out what it is that they can do for themselves. For the people that are new here to this channel, by the way, did you subscribe? So for the people that are new here to this channel, I'm a contemporary artist. I started pretty late in art. I never went to art school. I'm an autodidact, meaning I'm self-taught. I really grasped opportunities where I could. Some were introduced to me, some I had to create for myself. It is not the easiest thing to do, but it's possible. And not everybody's path as an artist will be the same. It will be as profitable or rewarding. I'm very aware of that. But you can make it rewarding and profitable for yourself if you allow yourself to be open to the opportunity. The moment that I started to have that outlook on life, that's when things started to change for me. In the beginning, when I started out, and it was years ago, and when I mean with starting out as being an artist, I'm talking about starting out to go on the professional route, however you want to Leave it. All right. When I was starting to go into that particular direction, it was really important for me to start to think about, well, what is it that I want to achieve? And it started, of course, firstly with, I want to be in galleries and I want to be in museums and all of those things. It's not to have a pessimistic way of living, but it is just to keep in mind there is a possibility that it just won't work for you, me, but it doesn't mean that I won't make it work. I do everything with that in mind. I treat myself as if I'm already in a gallery, in a museum, and wherever people can see me. That's the way I treat myself in MCJ Studio. That is the place where I am here right now. But I didn't start that way because I felt that my path needed to be as anybody else's path, or what is considered to be conventional and viable for artists. And the beauty of it is you find most things actually when you go on a detour, when you go off the grid. When you go off the grid, there is where you actually get the chance to really build things for yourself. Hence me being where I am and doing what it is that I do. So what is the plan that I have for this particular space? Excuse me, let me blow my nose. All right, I mean, it's just getting so emotional right now. I'm just joking. So the plan that I have for this place, I already talked about it. It's going to be an expo space. I talked about it in the previous video, right? The goal that I have for it. I didn't really talk about it in detail, and I'm still not going to talk about it in detail. Gotcha. I'm still not going to talk about it in detail because it is something that I still need to develop. I still need to develop that for myself, and it still needs to be put out into the world. You already know how I work. I don't put my manifestations out if they are not completely realized. Now you might have the next question like, oh my God, Marilva, these steps and plans, they cost money. And I'm an artist. Yeah. I mean, what do you want me to say? Of course, these things, let's defer from that, right? Let's defer from that perspective saying these cost money. Ask yourself the question, how can I get it? What are ways that are available to me or made available by others that I can use to do that? If it's not now, it will be at a later stage or at the perfect moment where I will have those resources. When you start to think in that direction, you will have a lot more opportunity and possibilities than when you are stuck in, I don't have the money. I don't have the moolah. Again, I've been there before. That is not a point that's going to move you forward. It's not going to move you forward to be thinking, oh yeah, I don't have the money. Certain things just have to really come out of your pocket. They just have to come out of your pocket, right? You have to be willing to make the investment. Hence me saying the word investment, okay? You have to invest into that container, which will lead you to ways. I'm not going to say the first time is going to be right, but eventually you will learn. You're definitely going to learn. But do not stay stuck in the mindset of it's going to cost me money. Listen, everything costs money. But what is the investment that you're willing to make? All right? What's the investment that you are willing to make? If there are free resources that can help you to get into spaces where you want to be, that's fine. And a lot of them work. Absolutely. I think there are a lot of examples of people who have used free resources that worked out great for them. But there are also resources, the same resources don't have the same outcome for everybody. That's in my case, right? And I'm okay with that as well, because that has definitely cultivated a space where I actually could say, oh, wait a minute, I actually get to think about what it is that I want to do. Yes, you get to think about what it is that you get to do. It doesn't become daunting, but it becomes a challenge, an opportunity. All right.
I started YouTube in 2016, 17, something like that, which now, as I'm thinking about it, is not that far away. All right. That is not that back into history. Not that far back into history. But it is for me a moment where, at the last day of the year, when I started to record the videos that you see right now and put them here in this whole compilation, a small compilation, I was like, well, dang. All of those years, I was basically so much experimenting with who am I as an artist? What is it that I like? I need to find something that really sticks. I need to find something that I can be true to. And as you might see in the following clips of this particular segment, I tried a lot of things. I haven't tried everything, but I've tried a lot of things that naturally spoke to me, but also things that I wanted to experiment with. And believe it or not, as much as I love painting and it feels so natural to me, it was actually something that I experimented with more from a place where I was kind of fearful for the canvas because, oh my gosh, it could go wrong. Listen, when you're sketching, you're using a pencil and a paper, you can, take an eraser and it's gone. And basically it's the same thing with the painting as well. But never would I've known that that would be actually the place where I would find something that was already instilled in me. But I need to discover it. It was buried under a lot of false beliefs and fears and things like that. And I think anything that I took on, any project that I took on, any type of medium that I took on to learn was just buried under beliefs. False beliefs. Can I do it? Should I be doing it? Is it possible for an artist to be interested in many things? Should I just stick to one particular medium? Should I stick to one particular subject? My answer is figure it out for you. Because for me, I have found my niche. And that has given me the freedom to figure out and to find out anything and everything that I love in it and about it. And I tell that a lot to people and also on this channel. I am focused on people from the Afro-Caribbean diaspora in the Western world. What are our stories? How do we develop? What are our emotions? What are our visions? What is our culture? Our language? All of those things so interest me. So of course I'm going to explore into that. Of course I'm going to be drawing. I'm going to be illustrating. As you see me here sketching, using charcoal pencils. Of course I'm going to be using oil paint. It has given me so much freedom to visualize and also focalize and verbalize what it is that interests me, my soul, my mind. And I'm also happy just to look back at those moments that I'm looking at it. Man, I've done so many things and still it's not enough. It's weird. It doesn't feel as if it's enough. There's so much to discover. I don't think there ever will be a year that I'm like, okay, I've discovered enough. No, I don't think so. I mean, look at me here going into my studio in Amsterdam, Amsterdam West. Many great projects came from that as well. And I just feel that I'm just starting to develop in what it is that I want to do. That's how it feels like. Those first 6 years, now that I'm looking at it, it was just playtime. And it still's playtime, but now I get to really evolve further into that vision. And I don't feel that anybody can stop me in that.
We of course don't know what 2024 is going to bring us, but I can definitely look back at 2023 being something that can be described as the following. But did you die though? Yes, it was challenging, but did you die? Yes, you almost lost your life, but did you die? Yes, you had to do all these things, but did you die though? You survived, didn't you? You're here, girl. You're here. Yes. I mean, I'm joking with it, but it was kind of challenging, right? And as I go as far back as 2022, where I was just literally just struggling, and I was very open and vulnerable about where I was in that particular space and how I quit my job and, all the thoughts that I was having about how I wanted to move forward. And it wasn't working for me, and I didn't, it really pivoted my thinking, my actions, my mindset, my perspective. What I very much like about 2023 is to see that in order for you to change something, you have to change. You can't be sitting somewhere and be in a corner and be like, well, why is it not working for me? Well, why is it? You can't be doing that. And I think I got stuck for a long time into, until or up to 2022, the end of 2022. Because at the end of 2022, I really started to make decisions for myself. Like, no, I need to make some changes. If I want to see different things happening, I need to make changes. And that's where it started. I did less shows, or actually no shows, 2023. Oh, no, that's not true. I did. I did a show, one. But I definitely for 2024 want to do more shows. And I definitely can with the space that I got. So yeah, I definitely want to do more shows. But looking back at 2023, do I regret the fact that I wasn't doing so many shows? Probably not, because my mind was more set on deliberately pivoting and physically moving myself around to a space where I would literally have my own studio, and now also have more opportunities when it comes to giving workshops at expos, an artist-run gallery space, basically. All right, basically. So yeah, that is definitely something that, looking back at it, has been a great point for me. Definitely. Another thing that I'm looking back at 2023 is, I could definitely talk about it right now, is the fact that a lot of things you have to do on your own. I've been very open and vocal about it with other people around me, but also had to lose certain people in my life that just would not follow me in the direction that I wanted to go. And it's not because you have to follow me in that direction. I want to include you. I would love for people to see what it is. I would love for people to be involved, and certain people were, interestingly, to the capacity that they could, because also have to be respectful for that. You have to respect people in the capacity that they actually can move into a direction with you. But for all others that didn't want to, or saw that they did not have the benefit of using me to their advantage, or the way they would foresee that for themselves, or they just didn't like the fact that my change would eventually lead to their change of their life and how it connected with mine. I mean, yeah, you get left behind, girl. I don't know what to tell you. And that was a hard part as well. I can be honest about that. That's hard because nobody wants to, you don't want to leave people behind. You want to take people along with you. You want to have people around you. And I like people to a certain extent. Don't walk up on me just for any type of reason because you heard me say I like people. To a certain extent, okay? To a certain extent, I like people, okay? If you're a stranger, you're in danger. I mean, I do like the people around me, but I did have to come to terms with the fact that this is my journey and I have to walk it. Not alone, but it has to be done by me. I have to walk that, right? I have to walk that. Certain decisions I have to make, certain steps I have to take. It's inevitable, right? And you cannot be sitting and waiting until there's a perfect moment. I don't want to wait for those moments. Who wants to wait for the perfect moment? The perfect moment might be under imperfect situations and circumstances. Hey, I'm just saying, eventually balances each other out, but yeah, certain moments were just me, myself, and I. Oh my God, would I do it again? Hell yeah. But here's the beauty of it. Here's another aspect that I've learned. I did a video about that, how vulnerability is very important in your process. It is very important in your process. If you want to show more of yourself and also work with other people, you want to broaden your network or, level up your network. Come across people with whom you really want to have a conversation because you know that they are in positions that could, move you forward, or you could get information from them that you would not, you can't read that in blogs. You don't read that in books. You don't read that from other people's social media pages. This is the information that you only get when you're sitting face to face with others, being open and vulnerable about your ideas and how you want to execute them. And you also prove yourself to be a person who wants to execute them. You take the first step. That is how you get to the information, how people are willing to help you. And that has to do with vulnerability. I definitely believe that has helped me a lot this year, becoming a little bit more vulnerable of my life. it has definitely had an impact on me. And I had to make a decision. I could close up because of that experience in my life, or I could ask myself, well, how can I heal and be a better person, and therefore also trust others again, other people again, and trust my judgment and discernment again, and my intuition again. Because certain situations, certain experiences in life can definitely do that with you. You start to doubt whether you have a good judgment or good awareness. Are you actually really aware of yourself? Because we like to believe that we are so aware and that we so know what's happening around us. But the thing that you cannot control is how other people look at you and whatever purpose they consider to be good for you or deem good for you. Vulnerability has been an aspect of life that I absolutely am proud of to have developed and will keep on developing, definitely. So what I just previously mentioned, awareness. You think that people know you because of what you think people see about you and what you tell people. But have you ever been really aware of how people interact with you based on what they see in you? You know, ask yourself that question, because that for me led to very interesting answers that were enlightening, but also very hurtful, because I never thought that is the way that I actually presented myself in the public. That is the way that that the choices that I made and how I spoke about them, or what I did or did not do in actions, would determine how people would treat me. I always were under the impression that I am the person who is dealing with the consequences. Yes, and yes, other people, therefore, listen carefully what I'm saying, because this is gonna be a lesson. It's gonna rock your world, okay? It's gonna be that gem that hits your head, okay? It's gonna hit your head. It are the moments where your actions that you do or do not take will also determine how people interact with you and what they consider to be useful in relation to you, right? Case in point, let's say you are you work somewhere, and because you only commit yourself just by doing the work that is at hand, but you never show yourself to be an ambitious person. You never really take active measurements to exert that ambition into something tangible. For instance, talking to other people, talking about your ambitions of wanting to grow, taking on certain projects and tasks. Because you don't do that, others now deem their perspective of you to be truthful on how they can use you. For instance, if the manager doesn't see, well, he hears you talking about the fact that you want to do more, but you never really take advantage or take active measurements of doing more, he sees you as being someone who's only fit for the job to be, you know, a clerk or operational, but never somebody who has maybe other ambitions, maybe more managerial ambitions or whatever. And therefore, they will only use you as they deem fit, based on how you perceive yourself and how you act. So your decisions are not only just for you, it literally mirrors to you what will happen when you make those decisions through the actions and the behaviors of other people. And that is something that I came across very well. I came across to that. I saw that. So when you see that, you can't really blame people for treating you a certain way. The question is, why do you treat yourself that way? Because it will mirror back to you through the people that you have in your life. It is inevitable, without a doubt, without a doubt. That's why self-awareness, meaning what do I do? Not only what I consciously do, but what do I subconsciously do? Why do I get the same response? Or why do I meet the same people? Or why do I keep continuing the same actions, wanting to have different results? The subconscious activities that are happening. What is that? Are you aware of that? Of course not, because it's subconscious. I know. But the question about it is, are you willing to discover it? Are you willing to discover it? Are you willing to set some boundaries? Are you willing to set some new rules? Are you willing to change the view of yourself? And changing the view doesn't mean that you all of a sudden have to be this whole other transformational person. You ain't got to be Mr. Jekyll and Dr. Hyde. You ain't got to be there. What I'm talking about is that you become more of yourself. Because what in 2023, the event that I've organized, the base, has taught me is that I can do a lot more than I think I can. And I should think a lot higher of myself than I actually already do. But not in the sense of braggadociously, but in the sense of you have capacities that you are undervaluing and you're not putting enough light on. And that is because there might be a fear of, I wouldn't even say failing, because I've failed before. I would say a fear of success, because what if it does work out? See what I'm getting at? So when you start to think in the way of, no, I am a success and I am successfully doing the things that I need to do in order to get what it is that I want, it mirrors back to you in a different way. It mirrors back to you in the people that you meet, in the way that you speak, what now has your interest, what actions you take. You become a lot more adventurous, but with a calculated risk. I'm still a Cancer. Cancers are not that risky, okay? So yeah, that is definitely something that has taught me as well. It can be daunting, and maybe for yourself you can think about certain things, certain instances that you were like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense that people always say this to me, but I never see that about me. No, of course not. You cannot see it because other people are mirroring it back to you what it is that you do. You're doing it subconsciously. I just told you. I just told you. But it's a great way for you to also hold yourself accountable. Which brings me to the next point. Accountability. Accountability and responsibility. 2023 and 2022 definitely have taught me to be more accountable and responsible for your life. You want to pivot it, you need to pivot it. You want to see changes, then you need to do the changes. That's it. Nothing more that I can explain over there. It's pretty easy. Another thing that I've discovered for 2023 is, there are people that are rooting for you, that you think that people are not watching you, but they're rooting for you. You think that people are not watching what it is that you do, what you're putting out, and I also have my moments that I'm like, oh man, is it worth it? Is it so worth it? Yes, it is worth it. And eventually it will figure itself completely out. There are people that are really rooting for you on the sideline or in silence. Not everybody is a hater, all right? Most of us don't even have that many haters, so chill out. No, I mean, there are people that are actually rooting for you. And from corners where you would never hear it, they would be like, giving you compliments, and it's like, oh my God. They are literally thanking you for it. They are thanking you for it. So take it. Take every compliment. Take every accomplishment. Pat yourself on the shoulder. Like I did in my last video. I'm doing it a lot more nowadays. Patting myself on the shoulder for doing things that I think are commendable. I don't care if you think it's big or small. To me, it's commendable. Shoot. Pat yourself on the shoulder. Acknowledge all of those little steps that you're making. They will lead to something big, right? They will definitely lead to something big. Another thing that, here are a couple of things that I've written them down. Wait. Okay, these kind of all have to do with each other. Here are a couple of other things that I've written down, but I'm just going to mention them through. So another thing is, do your taxes, all right? Do your taxes. That's all I'm going to say. Do your taxes. The second one is, let me see. Next one, venture into new avenue, okay? Those new avenues, they're all related to your art, your creativity. Venture into them. They might lead to great, profitable, lucrative opportunity, all right? Next one, network. Networking is done outside of your studio, your home, your gallery, your artist space, whatever. Do that over there. Go out, all right? Okay. Next one, be proactive, right? We hear it a lot, and I know it's a buzzword. We hear it a lot. So let's say a little example. You can be active, right? Saying, just a simple example. You want to go to the store. So the activity is going to the store or to go to the store. Being proactive means if I want to go to the store, I have a budget. I have a grocery list. If I have to go by public transportation, I check when the bus is leaving or the tram or whatever public transportation you're taking. If I need to take some form of a carrier, maybe I need to go by car because I have a lot of groceries. If it's a short grocery list, then I can go by bike, walking, or maybe just by transportation. That is being proactive. See the difference? All right, that's the difference. And last one is think big, all right? Baby steps. I understand, but think big. That doesn't mean that your vision stops. The vision is still big, whatever yours is, because my vision doesn't have to be your vision. I keep saying this all the time. My path is not your path. Think big and chop it up into little pieces. You don't swallow a cake at once. You cut it in pieces. So you cut it and then you eat and nibble bits. There's a reason why you have teeth. It's because you can chew your food and it will be easier to digest it through your system. All right? Digestion already starts in your mouth, but you have to chew your food. You have to bit in bits and pieces. Come on now. In bits and pieces. You might be watching a movie, but do you realize that you're watching the movie in fragments? These are small fragments put behind each other, and as you speed them up, you get a whole movie, but it's all little fragments, all right? Chop it up, but it's still a big dream. Dream big, and it has to be, when people say dream big, and this is something that I have to learn, and I'm still learning it, and I'm still doing it, because it can be daunting, but you got to do it. I will not stop doing it. Dream big means, yes, it scares you a little. Dream big means I might need people to work with, network. Dream big means I might need a bigger budget. Dream big means you might be waking up in sweat at night and be like, how am I gonna do this? But I'm gonna do this. Dream big means exactly what it is. Dream big. Don't do something that is within your capacity. Do something that you have to expand yourself into the capacity of what it means. Bingo. Don't do something that's within your capacity. That's not dreaming big. Dreaming big means this is your capacity and your dream is lying around that capacity. So that means you have to now expand yourself to go towards the capacity of what your dream requires. That's dreaming big. Okay, I have another one. Don't watch what other people are doing. You can be inspired by what other people are doing. You can, of course, learn what other people are doing, but do not be so consumed by other people's activities and work that you start to feel worse about yourself. All right, there are just different levels to life. So people are on different levels. Find yours. Find your level. All right, do that. Okay, do that. I don't believe in what are the good things that I want to do in 2024. Of course, I believe in having goals, but y'all will see in the near future what it is that I'm going to do and what I'm not going to do. But what I actually want to say about that is we're closing it up and we are making ourselves ready and preparing ourselves for the next year. With the necessary rest, of course, with the necessary rest, because damn it, that's also something that you need. I just want to tell you all that I'm very grateful and happy that you all have been part with with this year's journey. Some people left, other people came. It's all good. I definitely have a lot more things that I envisioned for myself for 2023, but unfortunately did not come to that point, but that's okay. We got next year, but I'm happy. I'm at the place where I am right now. Trust and believe. I'm content. Not just happy, but also content, because happiness can it's fleeting. Because one moment you're depressed and the next moment you're on the top of the world. Let's say I'm content. Okay, I'm content with what I've been able to achieve. You will see me in the next year, the week after the first week of the year. That's when you're going to see me back. So y'all be safe, all right? Don't do things that I wouldn't do. Be careful with fireworks. I see y'all in 2024. Blessings, love, peace, power, and light. Bye, y'all.